as we arrive on Concealed Hill. On the upper right-hand side, playing the Night Elves once again with the Keeper of the Grove, the youngest player in the circuit from Russia, Dise. Ah! Wrong button. Anyway, KraV is in the bottom left. You heard the intro here already. And with that, we're ready to go. KraV, what kind of style will we see from him? So far, so standard. Even with the forward positioned Ziggurat, that's something we see from him very, very often for a long time. And DK ghouls. No Lich experiments, no Dreadlord shenanigans. Just pretty standard at the moment.
Yeah, looking surprising here in his early choice. If he now continues... For a second I was like, oh my god, is he placing an Ancient of War there? No, that was the shop trick. If he now continues to tech and not expand, then KraV may have finally given up on his unconventional play and is going to go standard. That would be perhaps the biggest surprise of all here that could be happening. What I'm expecting from this series is KraV is going to try to take things wild, going to try to get ahead early and then win with a lead. I think if we go into the late game in just a standard game without too much happening in the early stages, I think Dise is going to be greatly favored. So I think KraV has to try to get stuff done early, to be honest.
Okay, I think KraV's development has been in this matchup a little further away from the crazy style, from the chaos, and more towards standard. That started when he finally realized that statues can be very, very good, even though you are on triple crypt. So slowly but steady, KraV is playing a little more like the other undeads that's been so successful recently. The question for me is rather Dise. Like, I kind of know what to expect from KraV as he is teching now, but what's Dise gonna play?
Forces are under attack.
He normally adheres to the standard pretty strictly. He is, I would say, a very fundamentals-driven player. He's all about scouting, proper reactions, proper micro. I think his micro is actually pretty good. And playing it kind of straight up down the middle, reminding me a bit of Colorful's playstyle. Normally not getting too wild from what I have seen so far anyways. KraV is continuing to creep with the ghouls across the map, very popular nowadays for the undeads out there. Innovated, of course, by Happy, as so many other things. And the DK is trying to harass, slow down the opponent, and we see quite a bit tech lead here already for KraV.
That's true, 50% for Dise, but of course he's going for an expansion, and oh, what a timing from KraV. And he comes in very well prepared, if you ask me. Knows exactly what his opponent is doing, pump fake, getting the kill off. And this is the same that we've seen against Ente. There seems to be no way to surprise KraV. He comes in prepared, knows exactly what his opponent is willing to do, and he shuts it down once more.
Yeah, this is starting to turn into too much damage here, that's for sure. The DK only with skeletons is not supposed to get many cancels. Probably Dise a little too concerned with creeping and not concerned enough with dealing with the enemy forces right there. Trying now with the entangles around, but guess what? There's Telestaff, and with that he easily gets out. And this expansion is going to be delayed by quite a bit.
Yep. On the other side, we see double crypt, so it is still gargoyles. Also something you can expect from KraV. Not too wild, not the triple crypt all in, but rather the standard Garg play. It's still very, very doable, even though it's not the norm anymore on Concealed Hill, thanks to the fountains, thanks to the dragons. And if you're good at multitasking, then Gargs can harass you into oblivion. And with the expansion being delayed twice, this costs quite a few resources and should open up a big timing window for the Gargs.
If we can get the cancel again here, this would be absolutely amazing for KraV. This is always what Night Elf wants to do against Gargs. Find the expansion early, have lots of economy. That's step one. Step two is always scout across the map and don't let them counter-expand. And if you achieve those 2 points, normally over time you should be able to get the win. But the expansion is still not finished. Less than halfway done. The Demon Hunter is about to come out. He's going to start creeping over at the lab. There's still a big window of opportunity to cancel this Tree of Life, but the Keeper is creating space. That's very nice. He's going into the base, using Entangle, taking out some units. Those kills are good to get, but honestly, it's more about making sure that across the map, nothing is getting attacked of his.
Yeah, KraV has the information, and KraV was responding very, very quickly to this. The Acolytes far to the bottom right-hand side, so Entangle is delayed. The Ghouls also pretty safe from Treants and all. And Dise plays a Demon Hunter secondary mode. This is, of course, the norm. This is what we see all the time, but Gargs are not the norm. So is the Demon Hunter still a good pick against Mass Air, or would you rather see a Panda here?
Yeah, against Garg, certainly the Panda will do better. There's a theoretical possibility of a third hero Panda, but that's not easy to make work. And I think Dise didn't quite see this coming. If he had, it should have been a Panda. The thing is, he was in the main base. He saw the double crypt, so maybe he feels that Demon Hunter is the better choice in the end with the mana burn. He is a great carrier of the Orb of Venom, of course, but that is a far and distant dream.
That's pretty much about it. He can knock down a Lich with mana burn, and then there's no Nova against possible Hippos, and that might give you the lead in the air battle, but that is far, far down the late game road. First of all, we go into Dryads as we oftentimes do. We also have a couple of archers to help with the defense, as we don't want to invest too much into static defense that is Ancient Protector. Well, they're not too static, right? They can walk, but you know what I mean. And KraV is powering up with more and more Gargs, tier 3 and the Lich.
And the tier 3 timing could be pretty scary here. Halfway through now towards tier 3, Frenzy Ghoul addition could be pretty scary against the archers. We don't have that many ghouls, however, but even a few can be pretty scary. Gargoyles find the Angel of Lore, and it's gonna slow down Dryad production by a lot. Dise already has so much gold, but no way to spend it.
True, only 100 lumber, and Dise needs the multitasking here, cancels it. There's also a lot of wisps going down. Now the archers as well with the coils, as long as the Demon Hunter is not really in range. Trying to go for a surround, but KraV opens that block with the skeletons. Well done, moves the gargoyle to the right-hand side, kills the Dryad on the left-hand side, kills the Dryad on the right-hand side. This so far is looking very, very good for the Frenchie.
Yeah, this is a kind of classic European Night Elf versus Undead play. This is why so many Night Elves out there have been terrified of Gargs for a long time. If you slip up a little bit once, if you start losing some units here and there, if the expansion gets cancelled, if your movement isn't perfect, suddenly the Gargs can rip a big hole in you and in your game plan. If you react to everything perfectly, normally the Garg build isn't the best. But make one or two mistakes and things can turn sideways right away.
There's another wisp kill. He has double wisp production now if he wants to, but he's down to 10 lumber. That's nothing. At 600 gold, he could think about a shredder as he opened up the lab already. On the other side, we got Ghoul Frenzy, we got attack upgrades, and as I mentioned very early on in the game, KraV is not going for triple crypt anymore, or not too often at least. Built a slaughterhouse because statues, the best unit in the game.
And whereas Frenzy, is he researching it? He sure is. Could bring all the 5 ghouls if he wants. Backpack here would make sense to pick up the orb. Yeah, he doesn't have it yet. Takes out 2 more archers. Those die to the heroes pretty easily. This DK has had great progress. Almost level 4 already, which is always an amazing level up timing for him. And Dise is just struggling. Bouncing between the 2 bases. Still doesn't have a second lore. And this game is seriously looking horrible for him now.
Dise is getting kinda close to KraV in the experience department, but with the Gargs, you know exactly how fast you can creep these fountains, and then it should be level 2 Lich right away. We have Stone Form coming as well. You don't really need it too much as there's no Panda. You don't need to dodge the Drunken Haze Breath of Fire, but it's a lot of regen if you're in Stone Form, so why not go for it? You can produce still, you need destroyers, or you want destroyers, you want more statues in general, and it's pretty expensive to go for that orb, so I think you got time for that.
Dise might be the one out of time. Going for a heal scroll invuln, that certainly helps. Level 3 Demon Hunter would be great. Not sure he's gonna get it though. KraV over to the fountain. Would love to see him just kill the Drake and then leave. The sooner he attacks, the better it is for him. I guess he also wants to heal up here though. Item for him. Illyria's Flute is amazing. Even more damage now on these Gargs against the Dryads. Very relevant. You mentioned earlier, the lumber is so low. The Dryads don't have any armor upgrades yet. He's going for attack upgrades, which is not the priority you should go for with the Dryads. If they don't have armor upgrades, they just die like flies.
It feels a little questionable indeed. KraV not even at 50, killing one unit after the next. Even has Nova Coil on the Keeper of the Grove. There's a heal scroll and there is an Invo Potion. But yeah, this is just dominance. What's the way out for Dise? He needs to stall time, but how does he even survive this push?
I think the best call for him might be perhaps to let this expansion go, because this one should not be savable. Dryads just go down so fast. There's no way. Dise is supposed to have 60, maybe 65 supply at this point in the game, but KraV just did such a good job continuously harassing. It was honestly impeccable harass by KraV, and not the perfect defense by Dise that is costing him the game now. This is not really a winnable position anymore.
Yeah, and with Keeper Demon Hunter, there's not even the biggest Hail Mary. There's no backup at all. Dise is struggling to get over 40 pop just once. Demon Hunter survives this. For now, I guess, but Moonjuice should be looking pretty bad. Statue forgotten or got a little break, but it doesn't really matter at this point. Regen is on once again, feeds at these Treants, feeds at the Ancient of War. Garg Mass is steadily rising. The mana burns are good from Dise, but that's kind of about it. He got heal potions, they are on cooldown. But yeah, that's his army, right? A Dryad and 2 heroes.
And a Dream. We had a similar kind of game earlier with Spiral against Happy Map 1, where it just looked absolutely desperate at some point. Really good game by KraV, man. The game plan works out very well. The harass at the beginning. That's where it all started, actually. The DK got 2 Wisp kills at the very start, which is not supposed to happen, and those things always compound. The low lumber was a big catastrophe. The Tree of Life cancelled, also a big problem. Dise just simply not clean enough of a game here on map 1.
Yeah, it feels like the Dream you just mentioned is a proper nightmare. 35 supply, that's all he got. 1,000 gold, but he can't spend it. Bottleneck lumber resource. And the DK is 3 XP away from level 5 after 14 minutes.
Yeah, he got so many kills earlier in the harass. Like, he jumped up basically from clean level 3 all the way up to 4 almost, from just archer kills and wisp kills and dryads. It was pretty sick. Really good play by KraV. This was honestly a wonderful display by him so far, and should certainly lead to the victory, at least on map 1. Dise now with the shredder. Alright, finally he's gonna have some lumber. A Garg drive-by though could also put an end to that.
Was about to say, like, for how long? You can repair the shredder, but then the rest of the wisps are suffering. But here's the next Nova, the next nuke. Can he get a Stoneform Surround? That's such a typical KraV thing to do. He wants it. He wants it. He gets it. Dise with the dodge on the coil thanks to the town portal, but yeah. That's what we expect. That's what I expect from KraV. Styling and profiling now. And this shredder, did he even get the second time to the tree? I don't think so. Oh my god! What a game.
Yeah, great performance by KraV this game. Absolutely wonderful what he displayed here. Super good harass. This was really, really outstanding. But Dise doesn't perform the way he can. Again, like we've seen in DreamHack before, this was too sloppy. This was not clean enough. You have to be on point every step of the way. You can't lose these wisps so easily in the main base. You have to be super fast, snap reactions with a Moonwell heal. You have to keep them all alive. When you go for the tree, you have to have wisps around to scout for the DK, and also standing right there to detonate against the skeletons. Again, that comes back to the very beginning, where he lost some wisps, makes that more difficult. You have to be super on point. As I said, you have to make sure you don't fall behind against KraV. If you do, you're in a good spot. But if you fall behind, you're gonna get eaten.
Yeah, that was pretty disappointing, to be honest. Like, I was expecting way better than this. Not sure about the demon, if he was kind of on autopilot, or does he think that it's better than a panda there? But for a long time, if Undead was playing on one base standard, you know, like ghouls into fiends, you would go for Naga. And against Gok, you would always go Panda. Nowadays, the Demon Hunter second, if you want to do Dryad Expo, is the standard, but you still have to wonder if maybe a Panda might have done a little better. I mean, obviously, it's Concealed Hill. It's kind of hard to creep it as well. Not sure. I guess we'll have to see in game 2 if he makes any adjustments, if he just tries and do the same and just have better execution. KraV, maybe he's the one that underestimated. You know, I was worried that he might be the one that underestimating Dise, but so far, it looks like it's all going according to plan for him.
Yeah, I definitely agree. KraV played pretty much his best WarCraft, and that was the case against Enter as well. You were not 100% on the hype train, but man, KraV is impressing me. I knew he would show up, as he always does, to DreamHack, but I didn't know that he would show up in this fashion. Like against Enter, it was pretty lopsided as he counted him hardcore, and this is the case against Dise as well. I don't know if KraV has a coach or a scout that gives him these information, but he's just ready.
Yeah, absolutely. Look pretty damn good, and the remaining maps that we have, KraV can also go to the style that perhaps he likes a bit more. On Concealed Hill, fast expansion, not so easy, as we very impressively saw from Foggy versus Starbuck earlier. Now map 2 is going to be Northern Isles, and this is not an easy Isles map. I'm kind of surprised Dise didn't veto it, because it's not very good against Standard, and it's also not very good against Fast Expo. So I wonder why he left this one in. His vetoes were Echo Isles. I guess that makes sense against KraV. Echo Isles is the best Fast Expo map, and Shallow Grave, the new map that a lot of people aren't used to yet. And with that map in mind, this could very well be a 2-0 for KraV.
Considering how Dise's map just went, it's really looking like it here.
I wouldn't be too surprised, but hey, it's always time to turn this around. Maybe this was just a warm-up game for Dise. Maybe he was a little nervous. He's still only 21 years old. Not the greatest competitive experience compared to KraV, who's playing basically since the beginning of Reign of Chaos. Made the switch only in January of 2020, but since then very, very, very successful. France Against the World was his to take, and as I said, every single DreamHack at least top 8, even made it into a semi-final already. It's Dice's task to tie this up now, and he needs to do this on Northern Isles. Let's go. Back against the wall for the Russian. KraV is about to advance once more. He's starting in the bottom left-hand side. Yellow for him. Again, aggressive Ziggurat as so often. And now, is there a switch up for Dise? Is there a second strategy that he can display? Or does he even have to display a second strategy, Remo?
I think he's going to go with more of the same. Dise not really the impromptu, improvising kind of dude. He's probably going to stick with what works, and that's Keeper opening always does. Whether it's for defending against cheeses, all-ins that is, or it's for expanding yourself, or it's for pushing an expansion. That is the great thing about the Keeper. He is really good at everything, especially in the early game, whereas he will fall off in the late game, of course. There's an option here to play Demon Hunter that has been played a bit more recently.
Whoa!
Whoa! And here comes something that completely proves me wrong. Out of nowhere, we see the Warden.
Okay. This feels a little Neutron-esque, I would say. Oftentimes, Neutron's go-to, and he feels a little under pressure as well. But that's a curveball, and I like it. More variety in this play. I know you're not the greatest fan of the Warden. If played well, she can have a great impact. But that is a big if, and she needs some prep. She needs level 3. She needs definitely a shop here at the green, and then some. A lot of things have to go right for Dise that this works out.
I think if KraV goes for the fast expansion, it's very doable. And if he finds a Ring of Regen, he wins.
Yeah? Is that so,
Yeah,
huh?
I think so.
Okay, one item decides the game.
In this specific scenario, yes. Most of the time not, but in this one, yes.
Okay, you sound very serious about this. We'll see. First of all, the big consumable, Scroll of the Beast, is not a reason to celebrate too much. KraV on the other side. DK opening, the norm. Ghoul opening, the norm. Did he scout this yet?
He did. He saw it with the Acolyte. Acolyte was promptly executed for his sins. Bit more experience for the Warden! Oh, but he misses a big chunk because the Ancient of War chunked too much. And it's level 2 delayed. And I've seen enough Warden games to tell you right now, this is exactly the bit of experience it's going to be missing for level 3 and 4 and 5 later.
Yep. Not great, but maybe he can get some ghouls instead? The Acolytes to make up for that?
Yeah, that is what you need with the Warden most of the time. Oh my god, look at that. The Flesh Eater's eating the corpse of the Acolyte, so it's taking even longer.
So annoying. Happens to the best.
And the items are horrible. Scroll the Beast and Gauntlets, that's pretty much the worst stuff he could have gotten. Oh, Jesus.
You know, KraV was pretty hero focus heavy in the fights there on map 1. Maybe the Gauntlets will keep her alive. On the other side, easy level 2 for KraV with Claws. And, you know, I always talk about the Wand of Mana Stealing as a situational item. And this situation with the DK versus Warden scenario is one of the best, ideally preventing a Shadow Strike while getting a coil at the same time. And KraV, he's just expanding.
There was a Wisp here just a second ago. Did he see the DK's inventory? And did he see the main building? Did he see the tech? I am not sure, but I think he did. Problem is, Dise was creeping anyway, so he has to go back home first, heal up because he was low HP, and then maybe try to harass. The archers are gonna creep at the same time. Warden will not get level 3 from this. You know why?
I got a feeling, Remo, that might have to do with this Ancient of War deny.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude. Pendant of Energy on top. That's another
These
coil.
drops are crazy.
Okay, Warden. It's your time to shine. You need to carry this game and you need to wreak havoc here. At least it's 100% confirmed what he has to deal with. Oh boy.
Nice deny right there, by the way. Denies the ghoul. And with that, denies level 3. Dude, I swear. Every time I see a Warden and she misses up one last hit at the beginning, this always happens. Every time.
Well, then don't miss a last
hit. It's like the WarCraft gods want to curse those Night Elves for not paying attention to their Ancients of War.
Oh my god, dude. Blink.
Warden! KraV just sold the claws of attack.
Yep.
Todd in Cologne, twisting in his chair right now.
Yeah, Happy probably saw this, scouting the possible next opponent, screaming at him. Okay, this game is an absolute disaster for Dise. He's still not level 3. So, if this is a Ring of Regen now, Remo, does it still count?
Well, I mean, you know, in this kind of game, whatever he would have found here, it's a complete disaster. And it's such a shame, man. Dise, when he's on point, he can look so good. But again, he doesn't have the best performance here today. Gets around again. Gonna have to blink once more. He had to waste so much mana on these blinks. Didn't get a single kill yet. With the Warden level 3, we got the lures coming now. Good movement, by the way, by KraV. Running across the map, realizing the archers, if they're creeping, are exposed. And at the same time, prevents the counter expansion. And by the way, the Warden, Phantom Knives has some AoE, but capped at 5. So honestly, she's not good against mass Gargs and Ghouls. So this is a great game to go Gargs again.
Oh yeah, and KraV will gladly take that invitation. Feels like Dise needs either a Tinker or a Panda to have the necessary AoE. Look at the timing, man. KraV is playing absolutely beautifully.
If he gets both, that is so painful.
Oh, he will
certainly get one.
Doesn't really care about the Shadow Strikes here. He has double income. No problem. Might lose a couple of HP here. Lore is finishing. Can then repair, but that exposes the Wisps. And okay, this time he gets the Shredder early. I guess lesson learned from game 1.
Alright, Warden getting some kills. This is what she needs. She's level 4. Alright. No need to sugarcoat this. This game is certainly a complete disaster for Dise. But he's got a Warden. If she gets level 5 and gets a whole bunch more kills and gets level 6, there is a small possibility in this game still.
Warden has good comeback potential, that's for sure. And KraV, if he takes things too lightly, if he feels too comfortable, then this could turn sideways real quick. That's a big if, because I think KraV is looking very focused, very collected. He needs to screw this up, and Dise has to play his absolute best. But let's not rule out the possibility.
A town is under siege.
Sapper coming in. How quick are the reactions gonna be? KraV is looking, but the Sapper is really close. Oh, he blocks it with the Acolytes. He's not targeting it with an arrow though.
Whoops.
And the Sapper does connect.
Also on the Acolytes here, that's the Nerub gone, that's one Acolyte down, that's two Acolytes down, Dryad's getting the fourth one. And this might cost some time. Dise finding a nice opening to do some damage here.
Yeah, this is really well done by Dise. That's exactly what he needed. Getting a hero kill would of course be the icing on the cake, but DK too fast with those boots. And a small macro mistake by KraV. He had the follow-up ziggurats and towers at the expansion too late.
Yeah.
If there had been 1 or 2 more towers here right away, this would have all been not so stressful. But the towers are coming up now. Double Spirit Tower, very good, especially against these Dryads. But this is more kills for the Warden. 4.6. We're counting.
Okay, but yeah, very, very hard to continue pushing now. He did buy time for the tier 3, which is at 50%. Coil is on point. No Shadow Strike anymore, so the DK doesn't have to worry about anything. Very early Lich. Not 100% sure. Wait a minute, can he? Okay, I was about to say, can he follow this DK? He probably shouldn't. Deny by KraV. So, we don't have Gargs, by the way. We got Crypt Fiends.
Also a very viable strategy. Honestly, the Warden doesn't really shape up well in a 2-base kind of game. Because she's very mana limited, and once she runs out, she does hardly anything. She can work out if you have a good early game and you pair her with a Panda. If you get both Warden and Panda to 5, then that AoE is really respectable. But in this kind of game, Dise certainly doesn't have the luxury of going for a Panda or creeping him heavily. Once you get the Warden 5, that he will at the red camp, and then he will pray to the Avatar of Vengeance to win this game.
Yep, good thing. In the undead base, there's always corpses. Put off Cunning, a little bit more mana, a little bit of more right click. Not too bad on a Warden. Of course, no Brilliance or anything, but still, you take this. On the other side, Lich completely naked. And DK blasted through his units or through his items already. Temple of the Damned and a Slaughterhouse on the way to tier 3.
KraV building the most straight up normal army that I've seen from it in a while. Banshees of course make a lot of sense against Warden. The anti-magic against her spells will render her close to useless. Also works against Dryad poison damage, by the way. But not against Orb of Venom for some weird reason. Well, we know the reason. WarCraft is weird, that's why. But here's another attack. The bears are coming in. We have Roar. And there's no Narrow here. And no Narrow being here makes retreating a lot easier. The DK, he may have to think about retreating himself here soon. KraV, caught it a weird timing. Suddenly, everything is exposed.
Whoopsie. Fiend goes down. Lich to level 1. No Orb. And no tier 3 in general. This expansion might get mauled down. And Dise is putting on a big fight here. Finding great timings, exposing KraV's little bit of a weakness in the early mid game.
It looks like he's winning this game right now. KraV, honestly, in hindsight, of course, easy to tell, but the huge mistake was being too greedy to go tier 3. What he should have done is pump units on tier 2 like crazy to be safe against such a push with upgrades. Delay tier 3. Of course, you want to have destroyers and orb if you can, but what's more important is to have the expo standing. KraV is holding on though. He's got the statue, which is a big help. Dise trying to get more kills. He's close to 6 now. If he retreats now, heals up from the Moonwells, fights again, he could win this game.
That's exactly what he does.
Lose that one.
I guess you can't prevent that as the DK coming in for the block. Warden indeed. 1/4 away from 6. This is gonna be annoying for KraV, but he can still do it. But second base for Dise is up, bottom right.
How did this game turn around so quickly? All of a sudden, it started with a Sapper. It was a Sapper, really. Sapper blowing up the narrow tower, and then the acolytes going down after the warden on Rampage.
Yeah, I think
And
it was...
also, I think KraV going tier 3 too fast. It was a little bit too careless by KraV, I would say, after this amazing early game.
I think it was like the beginning of things was the ghoul put into the base where he killed the lore, yeah, but the second one might have been an overcommitment. There was a triple kill at least for the warden. That was level 4, and that opened up the play for the sapper, and then you're absolutely right. Just played it very, very well. But he still has to finish this game. Not too easy to finish games against undead. There is mana. Bears are kind of low. This one might drop. There we go. Archers as well. Lich level 2.
The reinforcing bears here now very strong with the rejuve. DK dropping low. He can go Death Pact or Invul. Needs to use one, certainly. Last second with a Death Pact. That was close. But the bears, of course, when they connect against the fiends, do a lot of damage. We have some frost armor on here, but apparently not enough. And the warden at this point, it's not a question if, only a question when she's gonna get this.
And there's a lot of corpses for quite some time. Focus on the DK again, not at all on the level 6 progress. Banshee number 1 down after the anti-magic, and that gives him level 6. KraV always with good blocks, but as long as you block, you don't do any damage. Dise still at 48 supply. KraV same. Here's the avatar, and man, he has a graveyard in front of KraV's expansion to feed off.
And of course, these spirits are invulnerable. The tower can do nothing right here. It's again a spirit tower, by the way. If you only go for one tower, the narrow is normally the better choice. And Dise, what a comeback in this game. And you mentioned earlier, absolutely correctly, the warden has great comeback potential always. But man, KraV really gave this opening to his opponent. This could be... I mean, I don't want to, you know, paint the devil on the wall here, but this could be a really sad affair for KraV. If he ends up not making it out of the group, this is the game. That was the reason why. If he loses here, it's a huge throw.
And this is also one of these games that can completely shift the momentum of a series, right? Like game 1 was 100% dominant. 50% of this game was very, very dominant, and then you make this mistake, and then you start to think, and then maybe you're not as focused anymore, and then you lose game 2 and game 3. That would be heartbreaking, but hey, we're kind of on even-ish footing. Supply is even, of course, huge level lead on the first hero, but therefore no second hero. But Dice's expansion is really starting to pay off, so we're gonna have high supply numbers soon.
Dise even just at 50 supply. He doesn't feel the need to make much more here. Getting still more fiend kills.
Oh
There's
my
not enough
god!
frost armor. KraV needs to use more frost armor and anti-magic. But there's still kills going to Dise.
You know why he's not producing at the moment? Because he's waiting for his 3 Chimera Roosts.
Alright, that's one way to bust through these anti-magics. And KraV is just losing everything. Doesn't have a Dark Ranger, by the way. Normally against a Warden, you want to have a Dark Ranger third. The silence can be dispelled, but still good in the right moment. And just having a bit of extra right-click damage. A premium fiend, as I like to call her, can be very nice. And oh, I feel so bad for KraV. I almost want to say I hope he doesn't lose this series, because if he does, he is going to be kicking himself real hard.
The Avatar and the Spirits kicked the Necropolis. With that, KraV is supply blocked at a moment where Dise is gonna start triple Chimera production. That's gonna be 6 heads coming for Dise, or coming for KraV, I'd rather say. Very, very, very soon. And he has no answer to this. He doesn't even have a weapon. He doesn't expect this at all.
And Dise goes for a Pana, because why not?
Yeah.
Could throw in a third hero right there. How about a Fire Lord? Let's do it. Why not? Yeah, KraV realizes no way anymore. GG is called, and that is a heartbreaker. That should have been a 2-0 for KraV. It was the perfect early game. And then one hell of a throw. Oh boy.
Yeah, Dise has been very good with Warden for a long time. Initially, it was against Human that they really perfected the usage, but apparently he's transcended that matchup, and against Undead, also very able to pull it off. Yeah, that was a really bad start. It's stuck at 2.9 or slightly under level 3 for a very long time, unable to get that level 3. It feels like it almost should have been just smooth sailing from KraV, but that's why I was hyping Dise so much, is because he's capable of finding a way to come back in this kind of game. And now it feels like we're going to head into a map number 3 where he's going to be the one carrying all his momentum into that map as well.
We give these two warriors a little bit of a rest, and then we have the decision. It's going to be Happy, Foggy, and the winner of the next map going to the playoffs. The winner bracket final of Group C is tied 1-1. KraV taking the lead and then has 1 foot and half a lag in the playoffs already. And then there's the Warden level 4 and things spiral out of control really quickly. Good for us though. We get game 3.
Yeah, decision time here. KraV, I hope he's going to be able to bounce back from this one. This is always a really bad feeling. I know it only too well. You get super far ahead in a game. Everything's working perfectly up to a point. It seems like it's unlosable. And then you end up losing it. On the other hand, this is a great elevating feeling for Dise, of course. He probably counted himself out 95% or something right there, but then he came back with one of his favorite heroes, with the Warden, and that was a tough task, man. Northern Isles, definitely not an easy map. I would say especially not an easy map for Warden against Fast Expo. Now on map 3, I think it's going to be a bit tougher for KraV. It's going to be Autumn Leaves, where Night Elves have much more options to creep themselves and also to be aggressive against enemy expansions.
Looking forward to this. Who got the better mental fortitude? Is it Dise with the momentum, or can KraV bounce back, feeling threatened now for his top 8? Dise looks a lot happier than between game 1 and 2. I can tell you that much.
Well, I mean, he was always all smiles in the past, even when like he lost and stuff pretty hard. And he must be happy because he's actually won his first map this tournament. Remember, his initial match was a walkover over Blade. So it always feels nice when you finally open up that scoreboard and score your first map. But yeah, now he needs to close things out against a KraV who's definitely gonna be wanna be looking out more for specific mistakes and way to maybe lose a game, and he's gonna want to be careful not to repeat those again.
Yeah, and I think a little bit more scouting would be good. That could help him identify his opponent's strategy a little earlier. We have to take a look into the EPT points once more. Both players not in the top 5 at the moment, but still with chances. KraV 235 would get closer to Hawk, Blade, X-Lord, Johnny Cage. Dise tied with Spiral at 135. He would need a very, very successful run, but we've seen these young players making it into the round of 8 and then further, like Johnny Cage last time. So maybe Dise can follow in the footsteps, and now we got the game running. Both players ready. Who's readier for game 3? The winner of this next map is in the round of 8. Big money, big EPT points. So let's go and decide this. Autumn Leaves is the map that decides it all, Remo. What can you tell us about the updated version in this matchup?
It's gonna be, in case of Keeper, certainly a bit harder for the Night Elf. This was a great map for the Keeper to grab map control early. Well, normally he does that always, regardless of map. But then, with that, to be able to snipe items in the middle specifically, this has now become quite a bit harder. Also, simultaneous creeping with Treants at the green right outside the base. The little one is a little bit tougher, but mostly the map remains the same, I should say, especially in this matchup. You can try to go for a fast expansion here as the Undead. The natural is very easy to creep, but it's real close to the Night Elves, so that's a danger. The bottom or corner expansions have gotten easier, but still of course harder to creep than the naturals. And this is going to be the big question here for KraV. Map 1, he went for an aggressive play, fast tech, Gargs, aggro, especially in concealed. That makes sense. And then he played expansion, so another question is, what's he going to play here for map 3?
Oh yeah, maybe it helps that the creep spot got changed a little bit, but he's up against the hero that he defeated on map 1. He's gonna be up against the Keeper of the Grove, not a Warden, where Demon Hunter is a possibility here if you're super fancy, a Warden as well, but no, KOTG it is. And Dise, man, maybe you just need to tickle him a little. Maybe you need to threaten him a little to show his real potential. You know, like Michael Jordan in his documentary.
I've seen that one twice already. It's so good. And I was really hyped on sports documentaries. And then I saw the Formula 1 one. And that one was a little boring, I thought.
Dude, you know the best sports documentary of all time?
Smash Bros?
No, it's called Anaheim Mighty Ducks. Ducks fly together.
I don't believe that. I think the Smash Bros is the best shizzle ever.
But they copied the Playing Ducks for that slogan?
I think the Playing Ducks copied the Anaheim Mighty Ducks, but you should go for the cartoon version. It's the best. It's based on real life events though.
Here we see the Keeper continuing to creep. Did go into angle first, wanted to take out that past the Acolyte quickly. KraV has a lot of ghouls coming over. Oh, and a second crypt. Here we go.
No way.
Don't we love KraV games? You never know what you're gonna get.
Dude.
Like a box of chocolates. KraV gonna go for a ghoul rush. A tower push even, right? Sacrificial Skull? Is there an Acolyte?
Are you kidding me?
Well, not yet.
Not yet, but he could follow this up. My lord, the nerves of steel for KraV. Deciding game 3 and this man dashes out a ghoul rush. Can't believe what I'm seeing, but yeah, good night, Engine of War. No reinforcements for Dise anymore.
And that's really bad. Being stuck on 3 archers only here is a big problem. KraV doesn't have the aura yet, which is also painful for him. but it's probably just a matter of time. He needs 2 wisps or 1 archer to get that level up. He's got the dust. With a block, perhaps he could get it. He sure will. And now we got the aura and things get more difficult.
Oh, and he almost got the surround as well. Dise is blocking himself. A couple of unnecessary hits there. Moonwell goes down. Dice's game is completely falling apart. He is supply blocked. And the guts, they're paying off. Dise is no lawline when it comes to holding these pushes. He's getting another Engine of War there. Holding on till the tech is finished. But man, it's only at 50%. It's a long time of suffering. And KraV is just demolishing the base here. Another Moonwell down. Here comes the Blight. A little bit more regen on these ghouls who are a little hurt. Plus the Unholy Aura. And there's not much regen for Dise anymore because he's losing his regeneration. An unbelievable game by KraV.
And the goal here for Dise has to be don't lose too many Moonwells and survive until tier 2 without too many losses. And then you can go for a Panda, and that makes things easier. Ancient of Wars also help out to defend. One Ancient of War being attacked right now would be really important to save this one. Has to bring the Wisps for mass repair from the mine. Mass repair.
Whoa!
Barely enough.
Clutch repair. Of course, this means no income for the time being. Ghouls, will they fight with the Ancient of War one-on-one? Not really. Trying to switch the focus to the Keeper of the Grove. Shot coming. More Ancients coming. But KraV is cutting them. One after the next. Keeper is moving himself into a little corner.
Dise doesn't have a Wisp in the middle. He should have one very close by. He also doesn't have the resources. Would love to go for a Panda. But no goal to go for just that. The archers are either all dead or had to run away. Keeper healing up one more time. He's level 2 only. It's so many ghouls. It's too many.
What's the next target? It could be the Tree of Ages even. But no, be safe this time. Don't overcommit this time. Engine of War down. He's feeding the Keeper up to close to level 3, but never too close. Wants to surround, wants to TP, and wants to end the game.
TPing away. He sees where he's going.
Yep.
He sees the direction the Keeper is heading. Wasn't exactly sure how far he was going. Doesn't get the follow-up surround. But there's just no units. It's a Pit Lord second.
Whoa.
With Cleave, I guess.
Didn't choose yet. Level 3 on the DK. Is that Aura 2? No, right? It could go for Coil 2 to just end the Keeper's life and then end Dice's run in the winner bracket. It was a sprint, to be honest. And KraV is attacking with the graveyard now. Could go into Gargs. We have a coil on the Keeper of the Grove. Very, very hurt. Rain of Fire. Interesting choice.
I'm kind of surprised KraV didn't go all out here and just made 50 supply ghouls. Because once daytime hits, that's the real problem for the Night Elf. When you don't have Moonjuice regen anymore. And then you can oftentimes finish off the Night Elf when they can't heal anymore. And daytime is about to hit, but KraV is going to give Dise a bit more time to perhaps try to recover, but how is he going to recover? Can't make any units. Doesn't have Hunter's Hall. It's just 2 heroes. This combo, Keeper and Pit Lord, by the way, quite reminiscent of another European legend in Sonic.
Yeah, and you were talking about problems, like, I guess you're running into a couple of problems if you play Keeper, Pit Lord versus Gargoyles.
And they're not too far off. Tier 2 tech now, more than halfway done. DK looking for more kills. Takes out the shop, still no Hunter's Hall. And looking very closely at these Moonwells. They're soon gonna be dry, and then Dise, I don't know how he's gonna recover health from this point.
We almost counted him out in game 1, so let's underestimate. He's fighting like a young lion, that's for sure. He's trying his absolute best. But he's still so far away from everything. Even from Dryad. Even to go to Dryads, it takes multiple minutes. While the Garg production can start in a heartbeat. But KraV?
Not forgetting to remake the altar, so we're gonna see a Lich second, presumably very soon. Heal scroll as well. And Dise still in Struggle City.
Starbuck called it in chat, by the way, that this is gonna be a ghoul rush. Goes to show again how well these two know each other.
it's so rarely seen nowadays. Basically, nobody plays it. Mikhail used to do it every now and then, especially on Amazonia. But here KraV with a great play out of nowhere, and Dise did so absolutely not expect this. His scouting was the problem here. Not just scouting for a double crypt, which honestly was coming pretty late, but also the move across the map. And it's a Naga second by KraV looking to put on more pressure. He might be able to finish this game before the Gargs even arrive.
Trying to go into mass archers, but it's not that easy with only one engine of war. There's even, like, there's no engine of war. He still can't produce anything. For that, he's holding on kinda nicely, as much as a Keeper and Pit Lord do, but KraV just wants this around, knowing that there's no TP anymore. And if there's no Keeper, then there's no hope, and KraV will advance into the round of 8. What? I can't believe my eyes, man. The guts he displayed here. He is and probably will always be Mr. Unpredictable.
We've seen that fail against some players before, like for example, X-Lord last season. But here against Dise is working out wonderfully. Mana potions on the Pit Lord with the Rain of Fire. He's been doing some good damage, to be fair, but didn't find that many kills. That heal scroll from a moment ago was also glorious. Pit Lord trying to make it to the shop for one more potion, but it can't. That is the tough time. The Rumors have no more juice. And Dise is out of this series. GG. KraV will take